this week on IFBB AMA Podcast.
In reality, when it comes to the science of it and building our physiques, whether it's training, Milos, whether it's nutrition, it's going to be the same. A lot of natural athletes set that standard in their head that, I need to be different than an enhanced athlete. I need to do things different. That big decision lies between us, right? A lot of natural athletes have a lot of pride in that they choose not to use enhancements, which that's great. In reality, there really is no difference. The approach that needs to be taken to build our physiques or get in condition.
Justin, man, what's going on, dude?
Nothing much, buddy. How are you?
Oh, very good. Very good in Texas. I love in the heat. How's the travel life? As I see you've been traveling to every show.
Pretty much every weekend.
Every weekend.
This whole summer has been every weekend. I was in Chicago. I was in Tampa. I had to judge in Buffalo. I was in Vermont this past weekend. And then tomorrow I head to Jersey.
I don't know how you do it.
Oh, so Justin, by the way, you're NPC IFBB judge?
NPC. I'm a judge for the NPC Northeast. I'm not at the IFBB level yet.
And how many years you've been judging?
So since 2019. So going on 4 years.
All right. Samson or Nick Walker?
At the Arnold Sampson. And
there we go.
Not just trying to agree with the judging decision, but I mean, he was tremendous.
Yeah. No, listen, of course, I have so much respect for the judges, because when I thought, okay, let me just put myself in a hot seat and judge, I realized it's not what I thought. I was changing my frontal biceps, 3 guys, each time they hit the pose. I changed from one guy to another. Like, oh shit, look at this now. So yeah, but that was just a tricky question if I'm gonna like you or not. But I already like you.
So first, Justin, first to let everybody know your experience level. I know you're OCB pro. Is that correct?
No. So when you had sent me that voice memo earlier, I actually never turned pro in a natural organization. I got very close in the IMBF. That was back in 2012. It was Nancy Andrews Monster Mash. I lost to your guy who had about 100 pounds on me.
Yes. But you have experience, a lot of experience competing as a natural guy. You have experience on the enhanced route. You've made it to the IFBB. You've placed top 5 in 212 multiple times. You're a phenomenal coach, and I can speak from that from people that I've recommended to him. A lot of people don't know Justin, but the people who don't, he's an extremely good coach, and I would say underrated as in people should more know about him for his ability to get people in shape, especially people that are not the genetically gifted. Milos, Justin's really good.
If you say, I respect you, Chris. If you have such a high opinion, I would love that. And if you have a time, let's pick his brain on that as well. But I know 100%. That you invited Justin because he's a very specific guest, that can answer a question that we keep getting all the time. So why don't you introduce us to the question?
And so everybody who's listening, the question is, and we get this a lot, as a natural bodybuilder, should I be training differently than an enhanced bodybuilder? Should my diet be different? What are the differences? So Justin, correct me if I'm wrong. For you, is there drastic differences between training a natural guy, an enhanced guy, and actually start with the training aspect of things and then move on to the other?
So in my opinion, I'm going to agree with you right away, Chris. I do not believe there's much of a difference. And it's a great question. It really is, because obviously when we're talking about enhancements, when we're talking about protocols that are involved, it creates a different level of physique. We know that. We're not dumb to that. But in regards to the training, we'll jump into, let's say, a contest prep. The number one thing that I tell guys, natural or males and females, natural or not, we train hard, we train heavy, we train to keep the stimulus on the muscle when we're in a deficit. That's how we stay full. That's how we retain tissue in a contest prep, whether it's natural or not. And I mean, you guys know this, the number one thing that we hear from athletes is, I'm flat. I think I'm losing muscle. And you guys know it's very hard to lose muscle, you know, enhanced or not. So when it comes to the training, I think it's the same. I don't think that training needs to vary whether there's enhancement involved or not, especially in a contest prep. Obviously, case by case, individual by individual, when we start talking about recovery, inflammation, things like that, that's a different story. But in terms of the actual goal here, to build muscle, obviously a natural competitor, it's at a lot slower of a rate, right? But in terms of the style, I don't think that there's much difference.
So you would say, in retrospect, it's not that the approach is different, it's the outcome that's different.
Correct. Yes. And obviously that outcome being, dictated by the enhancements here, but in regards to the approach, it's got to be the same. Obviously it's just with a natural athlete compared to an enhanced athlete, things are going to be a little bit slower in regards to the natural athlete when it comes to actually building tissue.
So, Justin, you competed how many years drug-free?
Oh, so it honestly wasn't too long, Milos. I competed from 2011 to 2012 drug-free.
Okay.
I did 7 natural shows within that time frame.
Okay. And when did you start training?
I started training when I was 17. So I did my first natural show when I had just turned 20 years old.
Okay, so only 3 years, right?
About 3 years in, that's when I did my first bodybuilding show.
I didn't train any different when I was drug-free. Did I? I trained this way, that way, and now I train. No. And Chris, I think it's the same. I didn't eat any different.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, when you talk about outcome, Chris said the best outcome is different because, you have now pharmacological enhancement. But diet-wise, the training-wise stimulus, just like I said, why would it be different? I don't get it. What is this even comes from?
So now I'm sure you guys can agree with this. Chris, I think we've talked about this before. I've seen over the years this pride in being a natural athlete, amongst competitors. And that's great. That's awesome. Personally, I don't care what you do, okay? Whether you're natural or enhanced. I've seen this pride to where these natural athletes think that things need to be different because they are different than those who choose to become enhanced. But in reality, when it comes to the science of it and building our physiques, whether it's training, Milos, whether it's nutrition, it's going to be the same. That I think a lot of natural athletes set that standard in their head that I need to be different than an enhanced athlete. I need to do things different because that big decision lies between us, right? Obviously, when we choose to go down that road, it's a big decision. But I think a lot of natural athletes have a lot of pride in that they choose not to use enhancements, which that's great, but in reality, as I'm sure we're all agreeing here, that there really is no difference in regards to the approach that needs to be taken to, build our physiques or get in condition.
Go ahead.
And now, nutrition-wise, people say, and this is kind of funny too, and I know Milos is going to say something about protein, is like you see natural guys be like, well, enhanced guys can eat more protein. Whether that's true or not, I really don't believe so. I don't think that because you're enhanced means that you can absorb indefinitely more protein. That's, in my opinion, in theory, it makes sense. But I can't sit there and be like, oh, a natural guy is only going to be able to consume 1 gram per pound of body weight and get results, while an enhanced guy could do double that. I can't say that. You right?
I completely agree with you. I actually think protein is one of your variables that I think gets way out of hand with guys. I have some enhanced athletes on 5 ounces of protein because that's what the digestion can handle. That's what their digestive tract can handle. And I think that varies based on the individual. But when it comes to, the drug aspect or not, I agree with you, Chris. Like, just because, someone's enhanced doesn't mean, all right, 500 grams of protein is going to go down the hatch nice and easy. I think that it's all variable dependent based on the digestion and based on how actually tolerate.
So digestion is equal to drug-free or enhanced, right? So if that's your digestion, but when you say anabolism, right, anabolic agent, yeah, in theory, you can now anabolize, increase protein synthesis, right? So, increasing protein synthesis, now you can handle more protein? No. It's the same amount of protein, but maybe with the pharmacological, it's going to do more with it.
Yeah.
So this is direction that I actually put all my drug-free guys on super high protein. I was on super high protein. We just talked about James Hollingsworth. Justin, you don't know. I just started working with James and
Okay.
Chris, me and James. We talk about protein intake, and I was on him because they said you just don't have a sufficient. And I'm a bro scientist, of course. The Chris is nutritionist, and there is a lot of experts going to tell you just that limited protein, we don't need more because the studies has shown. What study has followed Nasser Al-Sambadi and Dorian Yates and Ronnie Coleman and us, right? To say, okay, this is now sufficient. So from very beginning, and I tell you, I came from a medical family in Yugoslavia, Serbia. And of course, first read recommended daily allowance, and you don't need more than, there's no reason to eat more. Okay, but if it's only building nutrient, what will happen if I have a little bit more? So I double it and triple it and quadruple it and all that stuff. And more I was putting in, the the more growth I experience. So how can you convince somebody novice that is just starting, if I eat this much, I grow that much. If I eat that much, I grow this much, right? So this is where it came about. I don't have a single client for 30 years that I compromise with protein. I mean, 1.5 gram of protein per pound would be for me minimum. Don't go under. If you go under, then change the coach. And I would go as high as 2. And some of my athletes, went over that, and they experienced even better results. I was just today talking about my Malaysian drug-free guys. And when I say drug-free, I mean drug-free in every sense of that word. When you put something on Instagram and you say Ronnie Coleman was drug-free in 1992, 3, 4, and, part of the 5. You mean he was just on testosterone, or just on, no, drug-free means drug-free. So I was putting those, I double up the protein on what those guys were doing normally, and they got tremendous results. So I understand that you're saying like you give some enhanced guys only 5 ounces because that the digestion can only handle. You see, for me, if this is the case, they can have a meat, or any solid food, solid protein that would cause that problem. Then I add either essential amino acids or whey protein to their meal to up the protein. And this is how I was going around it.
Milos, just to recap real quick, when you say 1.5 grams, are you talking total grams of protein, including peanut butter, rice, everything, or just meat?
Yeah, it is. But you see, I said it before. For me, I always wanted to underestimate the protein and overestimate the carbs. So I would not count the protein in anything else. Yeah.
Okay.
But when somebody asked me, I said, no, okay, you can count everything in. Yeah. Basically, protein is protein. So what is thinking of, okay, I'm going to eat that protein, but I'm not going to count it. It is a protein. You just had it, right? From anything. So as long as you have it. But I've been always pushing the envelope. And because we got Justin here for a lot of experience from natural to enhanced, right? We stated we didn't train differently. We didn't eat differently when we were natural and when we turned into the enhancements.
It's actually a funny observation, and I'm sure, Justin, you might have something to add to this. And even you, Milos, when I first started getting into bodybuilding and I was not enhanced, I was actually doing more training in the gym. I was doing more sets. I was doing more days per week. And then fast forward all the way to the end, I was probably doing a third less of what I was doing then, volume wise, because you get more efficient and better at training your body. instead of just aimlessly moving weight and such like that. So it's kind of funny how like, oh, well, I may have put on 20 pounds of muscle naturally from a teenager, a late teenager to early 20s, not enhanced, but doing everything wrong and doing crazy amount of volume, spending 3 hours in the gym eating Boston Market and orange slice before for pre-workout, and then like putting all this muscle, and then you fast forward and it's less.
To me, it comes down to one word, and I'm sure Milos can agree here too, intensity. We learn intensity. When I was in college training for 3 hours in the gym, it was do some sets, talk with the boys, look at a few girls, there was not intense training. I was a natural guy, and I took pride in, I'm in the gym for 2-3 hours, but I didn't know intensity.
Yeah.
When you up your testosterone, your attention goes somewhere else too, right? But yeah.
It's funny how think about this, right? Remember the first time somebody pushed you on squats, the very first time. And then think of the hardest time ever you push yourself on squats, right? And that very first time you were pushed, you're like, man, I'm working hard. And then all of a sudden, 8 years later, 5 other levels were accomplished. And you're like, I'm on a whole nother level. I would run circles around that person before, because there's always another level. There really is. And Milos, I know you know that, training the clients, like when you push somebody so hard,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, today I talked to Jean-Pierre Fuchs, right? So imagine he was squatting 9 plates, whatever that is. Okay. So 405, 495, 585, 675.
I'll do it.
7, 6. I mean, it's like, God damn. How can you even put this on your back?
Jesus. How many reps was that, Milos?
He didn't say the reps, but he got injured in my gym at a photo shoot.
855.
What? Yeah. Okay.
855.
Jesus Christ. But so I wish I was thinking about to asking how many he did. But the reason why we talk about it, he was doing 7 plates, and there was no fake plates. At the time when this accident happened, Chris Land would refuse taking pictures with the fake weights because he wanted you to have that effort. And, so it's not fake. I was saying all these pictures in Iron Man and whatever we did, they made you make that stupid face like you're dying. I said, it's a fake weights, right? And I don't, even when I do heavy weight, I don't make those faces. No. You have to make this face, so Chris Land didn't want you to make the face. He would just like train, live this. And what he would do, pretty heavy weight. So you do like 5-6 reps. He doesn't even take pictures. And then when you start getting in trouble, then he started taking pictures. You know what I mean? And Jean-Pierre Fuchs did 7 plate squats. And he did whatever amount of reps, right? Racked it and all this was good. But then I think Chris Land wanted to change the lights. And then, didn't like the lights. And then by the time he put the lights and all the stuff, and then asked him to come back and do it, kind of like he was already dieted down for the show and kind of rested and all that stuff. He said, he should have come down and warm up again, but he didn't. He just did like 5 reps, so he's going to do it again. He said the second he picked up the weight, that felt like heaviest thing he's ever felt. And now it's only 7 plates, right? Normally he could go up to 9. And I know exactly what he means by it, because there was the times, and I'm sure that you guys experienced that, I could routinely squat 6.5 plates in my, I go 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5. But there are the days, when you already 4 plates, right? And you put 4.5, it's like, this feels heavy, right? And that's what he said. These 7 plates felt so heavy. And on the way down, he says it was like a slow motion. Essentially, he already felt his tendons are blowing up and all that. He just collapsed. And he's like, oh my God.
I remember that. It was like in the front page. Wasn't it on the front cover?
Jesus Christ.
Scary.
7 plates. Yeah.
Justin, now I have experienced this dieting natural guys that obviously gear does give enhancements, gear, juice, the beans, however you want to say it, the J train, gives you an advantage where you probably could progress faster either way, getting in shape and getting bigger. So usually with my natural guys, I do a lot for more time in prep to get in shape. So if somebody has to lose, say, 20 pounds of stage weight, 25 pounds from stage weight, an enhanced guy, I could be like, all right, 16 weeks is reasonable. I like to have a good amount of time. But, a natural guy who's got 25 pounds to lose, I might be like, I need more time. I want more time. Because, I got an old guy now that I'm dieting, natural guy, and he's 63, and we're dieting a full 21 weeks. But he's chipping away like a pound a week, pound and a half. And he's really good. You got food's decent, cardio's still low, sleep is fine. Just kind of trimming your way down, because, as a natural guy, you can't exactly be like, you know what? We're going to hammer it. I'm going to take off 4 or 5 pounds per week and in a 40-year-old man who's natural and expect a very positive outcome. Do you find that there's a difference there?
So I guess that varies based on the individual. It depends how long, and you guys know as coaches how long you've been with someone. How fast someone can burn fat. How fast we can get someone ready. I guess I don't have like a typical, like, okay, you're not enhanced, we're automatically going to do 20 weeks. This is like, let's say someone came to me fresh, and I didn't know them, I didn't have any background on them or anything like that. I completely agree with what you're saying. Obviously, as an enhanced athlete, there's more tools available to get in shape quicker. And then you could play, devil's advocate to where when there's enhancement involved, estrogen, those variables have to be really regulated. So that's where knowing how an individual responds to certain compounds, having off-season work or previous contest preps plays a role. Whereas the natural guy, to where there's none of those variables in play, where there's no enhancements in play, they may get in shape quicker. But I'd say I'd be leaning more towards agreeing with you, Chris, to where, if it's someone coming to me fresh that is not enhanced, I'd probably want a little bit longer, just to play it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's throw in everything that goes in, right? You want a fat burning, you want anti-catabolic state, right? And then possibly anabolic. So these are those variables that natural and enhanced. With enhanced, you get more anti-catabolic activity of pharmacological agents, right? So I remember, Chris, when you were saying because I need more time, like, yeah, well, you have to prevent catabolism, and you can just go down the road, right, that you can do with the enhanced guys, because you can have a greater deficit in calories right here and give them some fat burners, but they're going to maintain the tissue because of pharmacological agents. You can count on that in a drug-free athlete. So for that reason, of course, it makes sense prolonged diet. But let's boil down. This is an important thing for me, and I know that Chris, you're always in very good shape. I was in very good shape all my life, right? I literally did 110 shows, 72 pro shows.
That's
and
crazy.
I was sometimes on a 4-week notice. I didn't plan whatsoever, but when it's a show, why not, right? And if we are honest, this is why we bodybuild, to be in shape year round. So all this thing from very beginning, eat big, train heavy to put size and off season and all this shit. It's such a ridiculous, stupid excuse, right? You get out of shape and used to being fat, and okay, because now I can lift heavier and all that stuff, and then you do this and then you go there, and constantly. I could never understand it. Yes, some guys, okay, Lee Priest.
You hear that, Lee? You hear that, Lee?
Yeah, so because how can you argue with the results? I don't argue with results. Yeah, there's one way of doing it, but in reality, it's excuse to be out of shape, to be not as disciplined, and then I can just feel better. Nobody feels better than contest ready when your stomach is glued to your spine and every fiber is moving, right? So even these naturals now, when you train them for a contest and you get them ready, I would never let them get out of shape.
Oh,
You know, don't do it again. You know,
Oh,
why?
especially a natural, letting a natural
Yeah.
get way out of shape. Oh my gosh.
It's an excuse to eat for a lot of these guys. That's the reality of it. Is, you know,
Dude.
everyone loves off season, right? Because they love food and they want to eat. They want to, like you said, Milos, they want to train, eat big to get big. When really, what's really necessary here? Now, I have a question for you guys on this subject. Do you guys find that with your younger guys, you know, early 20s, you know, maybe even high teens, that they need to get a little bit fatter in their off season to progress in terms of building tissue?
Well, you know, it's interesting, you know, a thing. It could be approved, but again, I am not for it. If you're balancing everything out, right? So oh, yeah, you can be like 3-4% body fat. I say, what do you mean I can? If I am 3-4% body fat, and now I give myself so much nutrition, timely macronutrients, I'm never deficient. You see, you know, Justin, we never talk about it. So my theory in this one: every human being, especially athletes, and then especially bodybuilders, if you give them timely, any moment of every day, you have all the carbohydrates, protein, and fats as needed. You know, the glucose and amino acids and triglycerides as needed. And you find that what that is, that you can get away with it. You're never deficient. You functioning properly. It's everything good. You can allow a little bit more body fat to accumulate, but very little. As soon as I see, okay, this is going too much. No. You know, we are getting too loose here. As I said, we want to be bodybuilders 365 per year. You know, 24 hours a day, always be in shape. Young can get away with a murder, right? So you can let him eat and enjoy and all that stuff. But listen, I'm going to tell you from my experience, since I came to the United States 23 years old for the Miss Universe, I kept those journals. And I promise you, you could have 2 days in a calendar year that I marked that I was not perfect. Okay. And I did this for 15 years straight. Okay. I'm no better than anybody else. I just know, listen, be honest to myself. What do I need? Calories or nutrients? Okay. And if I need the nutrients, what kind and how much? I realize that a lot of people compromise and they don't have enough. And now when you don't have one nutrient converts to the other, you know, so you're compromising. All my clients, the ideally, you know, with James Armstead, right? Great pro bodybuilder already. My job is to find how far I can push close to his maximal level, that we don't accumulate any body fat, we don't sacrifice any possible muscle growth, you know, glycogen storage, performance in the gym, right? This is how it is. If I go too low here, something's going to compromise. And he's going to look good and all that. But are you honest to yourself and you say you can minimize, optimize, maximize? No, I don't want any compromise. So on that note, now to reverse to your question, can younger, you know, be a little bit fatter? I mean, you can give him more nutrients and allow him to maybe get a little bit out of shape. Because okay, now especially you need some fats for testosterone and you know all this kind of stuff. Yeah, no problem, but not necessarily. Jay Cutler also told me that back in the day, he was on similar type of diet, super high protein, super high carbs, and low fat. I was on low fat all my life. Okay, did I compromise somehow? And I was, that's 90s, right? 80s and 90s. I was on a cycle and then I was off completely. So if I would be off completely, right, and I don't take any testosterone and all this stuff, and I'm super low fat intake, you would assume maybe it's not good hormonally. I'm going to crash. I'm not going to have enough testosterone. I never did. So it's just, I think, assumption. And then, you know, people then go in one direction without really, okay, think about it if it makes sense, and then try it and inspect what you expect. 1 week, second week, third week. It just, would you want to let them get fat? I wouldn't. I really, and whoever came with me, Dennis James, Gustavo Bodell, Hirotada Yamagishi, Dennis Wolf, they compete all the time. It's not like, oh, one contest a year. No, 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 no. Especially them, they're pro bodybuilders. Every contest is opportunity. I would make them compete. And when you make them compete, you make them be in shape all the time.
All right. So this is my answer, Justin.
15 minutes later.
No, but what I like about this question is all of us are going to be answering it based on our experience, right?
Yeah.
So like in my general experience, I used to allow people to get a little heavier to kind of push, the size, the strength, the performance-based approach. And then I realized I shot myself in the foot with some people, right? Now, younger or older, I think it would more be just based on that person's genetics, right? I mean, we do have clients or have had clients, I don't know if you have, Milos, that genetically should not be bodybuilding. Like, they just shouldn't be. Where their body fat off the get-go and their structure is just as anti-bodybuilder as it can be. But they want to bodybuild. So it's like, okay, you trim, 70 pounds of fat off their first show. And then after their first show, they're like, man, I really want to maintain a very lean physique. I'm like, that's probably not going to be in the cards for you. Could you maintain a much leaner physique than you were? Sure. But you're not going to be walking around with a 6-pack of abs eating 700 carbs in the week in the off season. It's not going to happen for you. So like I do have a couple clients now that genetically, I would say they're fat people, right? Their body wants to gravitate towards being chubby. And I do mitigate that as best I can. I do not let them to get fat. By our standards, we would probably be like, dude, you're 20 weeks out. Like we're we got a good amount of time. But it's like I'm in the middle, right? There's the outliers that I feel like to keep them very, very lean, they can't do it. And like you said, Milos, at the end of the day, the excuse to eat, right? So you get some of those people that have to take such amount of body fat off over a long period of time, which is not sustainable. And then for them mentally to stay on a diet plan to maintain that and be very meticulous, they just don't have it in them. So body fat accumulation is going to occur because it is, dude. It's like you and I, everybody here has maintained an incredibly lean physique after a show for an extended period of time. We all have. But all of us can't be like, we're genetically ripped. I can eat whatever I want and be ripped. We had to work at it. Once we had it, we maintained it, but we were super diligent and disciplined to maintain that lean physique. Where some people they just can't do that. Like mentally, they're miserable. Sex drive's gone. They're cranky. They're very food focused. So it's very hard to make the call to say they need it to get bigger, or it's more or less they might not be able to do it mentally or function correctly. You know what I mean? Because you know how it is, dude, because you get people like that and you're like, all right, you're doing great 6 weeks post show. Everything's great. You're being leaner. And all of a sudden they binge for a weekend and they put on some fat. And then you're like, all right, dude, like you got to take it easy because we're putting on some fat. It's not like I can't really raise your baseline calories if you keep cheating all the time, because now you're just going to accumulate fat super fast. And then they get to the point and then they're like, oh man, I'm uncomfortable. I should diet again. And then you're in this roller coaster, right? Of going like this. But Justin, what do you think in that regard, in your experience?
So I think, this comes down to, and this is obviously a very, simple answer. It comes down to how bad someone loves this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Are we looking to improve? Are we looking to do this year round? Like when someone comes to me and says, oh, I need a diet break. I know you don't know what that means, Milos. I know you don't know what that means, Chris. I don't know what that means. Like, we need a break from this. Like, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Like here,
right.
Yeah.
But it's a different time. This is 2023 to where, a lot of clients, even though, they'll be serious for a contest prep, won't even eat a blueberry off plan. But then once reverse and off season comes around, they want to be a normal human. To us, we can't register that because we love this stuff. It's 24/7 for us. Right. Yeah. But I think nowadays, with more modern clients, it's tough to find that balance for them, even though there shouldn't be. I've had people tell me they're going on vacation a week after a show. And it's like, how are we, how serious do you want to be about this? Do we want to stay in the novice class forever, or do we want to level up? And, I know that us three know the answer to that, thinking of ourselves, like Milos, when you were talking about what you did, in your career, it never really, like that mindset these days, I hate to sound negative, but it's kind of gone. People want normalcy, and they have to ask themselves, how much do you really love this stuff? When I'm competing, when I was active, like I didn't, it was when the contest prep is over, it's off season now. We got to think to improve. We got to take our nutrition seriously. How is our nutrition and our training going to improve us? There wasn't, oh, well, I'm going on vacation next week, so I'll just let loose there, and then I'll clean it up when I get back.
Yeah.
Now,
that mindset would never work. But yeah,
Pendulum.
you hit the nail. But here is the thing. You said you were always consistent, Chris, myself, right? But I tell you, I never suffered in a diet. I eat foods that I like. I eat foods that I like in amounts that is allowed, right? So all these people, because they're so sick, I'm dieting and now I'm suffering, and then, let me get loose.
Mm-hmm.
After the variables would be, I want more carbs, I lower a little bit protein, I adjust here and there, So for me, that was never the issue. And that's what I try to do with my clients. If I put you in a diet that you hate and they're going to suffer and all this stuff, you just want to escape from that. And let me go to a vacation. Let me just eat the foods that you like. Let's go. Protein sources. Okay. You're going to have a lean protein sources on this side. Okay. Egg whites, the lean fish, blah, 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 blah. You're going to have a fat protein sources here, salmon, steak, eggs, whatever. Okay. So if you need to stay lean, with a shitload of carbs, or, add the carbs, here, when you're going to go here with the high fats, okay, you don't need the carbs. So adjust your meals accordingly. You see, you probably are not familiar with my diet is not 1 week diet, 1 month. It's like a 3-hour diet until your next meal. You can be in maintenance. You can be in anabolic phase or fat burning phase. If you're in fat burning phase, you need a caloric deficit, and maybe you can do something to burn some fat. But normally it's just maintenance phase, from meal 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, whatever, maintenance phase. You train, you don't train. Oh, if you're going to train, for me, every training is anabolic opportunity. That's my anabolic phase of the day. This is when I can make things happen. You stimulate the muscle, right? And we push. I do my intra, post-workout nutrition and stuff like that. For me, I'm honest to myself. This is my anabolic phase of the day. I cannot compromise. I have to have all my carbs and protein and all that stuff. Do I need fat? No. At this time, I don't need fat. So when I tell my guys, okay, I'll give you the clearance. Tell me what you like to eat. And they give me the list. Okay, here you're allowed. Here you're not. Okay? And if you get the clients that they can choose their foods and you just adjust their amounts and timing, then it's very possible once you get them in shape, they kind of already eat what they like eating, maybe not as much as they would like to eat of that stuff, but at least they're eating, that. This is how I would approach. I just see the guys that, okay, they cut the carbs to zero, the keto diet, or, and then, of course, they crave so much carbs, and then they start eating some carbs, and then they want to eat them more, and then just like, screw it. And then, like I said, for 1 week, I'm going to binge. Well, it's 1 week later, you're a different animal, and it's like, you can't fix it. Now you're back on the square one. Why would you let that happen? I don't let them happen.
But Milos, they want a ribeye. They don't want a sirloin steak.
Yeah. I just think, listen, I don't know, a bunch of people like Fuad and somebody else, Dennis James, said, like, I'm harsh. I'm not harsh. I'm telling the truth. You want me to sugarcoat it for you? Yeah, you want it, no, you can't have it. But if you choose to do it, well,
you know what though? We can all probably say that there's a different type of perspective in anything. Now this is weird, right? And I'm sure we've all been there. Milos, you used to eat like what, canned fish out of remember in Serbia, right? Like, oh my gosh.
I should afford it.
Justin, when he was telling me his prep diet, it was like double boiled chicken, no salt, no pepper. And it was like plain greens, no carbohydrates, no added fats for like 12 weeks. And I'm like, let me tell you something, Justin. You and I both know how many people of our clients would last on that diet, like probably like 2 days.
And then there'd be a post about us the next day of how we're so unhealthy. And we're the worst coaches ever.
Yeah. So think about a food that you implemented into your guys' diet that you weren't thrilled about as a kid, but you wanted to eat it because you knew it was a part of the bodybuilding regimen and it was good to do. And then over time, you started to like it. And then it came to the point where you enjoyed it and then you started to crave it. I mean, dude, I hated oatmeal, plain oatmeal. And when Christian Chuli, bodybuilder, used to date my sister, he saw me, what I was eating, and I was always asking him questions about building muscle. And he goes, dude, you can't be eating sugar cereal, bro. Like you go, and he whips out a couple whole eggs, some egg whites, plain, oatmeal plain. He goes, this is the shit that you're going to be eating. And I remember as a kid eating it and be like, oh, this is terrible. Mm-hmm. But fast forward 6 years into 5 years into bodybuilding, and I'm like, man, I want a huge bowl of oatmeal.
Yeah,
I want a bunch of eggs. So it's weird that like some people will take that route. They like, what else can I add to my diet that could benefit my bodybuilding recovery, micronutrient density? And all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm not thrilled about broccoli, but I'm going to eat it because it does this. Then they do it. Then eventually they like it. And then you get the people who are like, oh, I hate this, but they still do it. They never like accept it. They're like, their one foot is in the door of Dairy Queen and their other foot is in the door of the produce section at Whole Foods. You know what I mean? Like they're like, I can't let go. I can't let go. I got to be over here. I can't let go. It's like, dude, don't even look over there anymore because over there is not part of your regimen anymore. You know,
it's not beneficial.
Yeah,
I would say that's salmon for me. The thought of salmon before I started bodybuilding, oh my God.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely not. Now I'm ordering it if I go out to a nice dinner.
Listen, I have a salmon every lunch.
Love salmon.
Yeah, I was telling Chris, I have a 40-something years the same breakfast. My egg whites, and I always eat bread. I always ate the Greek yogurt, and I had my protocol. I promise you. And I was thinking, like, at any point, I'm going to get sick of it, and I'm not going to want to eat it. I promise you. I can't wait to wake up. Sometimes in the middle of the night, like, oh, it's only 3 o'clock. Shit, I can't wait to wake up and have my egg whites. Who does that? And my wife turned me into the salmon, like salmon sushi kind of. You sear it, and then
nigiri,
avocado, lemon, jalapeno with some rice. Every single day is the same thing. I love it. So if I would be dieting for a contest right now, I would just, reduce my carbs, rice a little bit, but I would eat the same foods. Yeah. And this is what I tell, not just for competitors, but let's say if somebody is listening to this podcast and they're just average Joe or Jane, they're not in shape. Okay, if you're getting yourself in shape, you want to have foods that you love eating every single day to the rest of your life. You're going to adjust the amounts of and timing. This is what needs to be done. Not like, oh, I can't have this. It's going to take a little bit long time. Of course, we all know if you want to shed some fats, you're going to cut the carbs, you're going to put them on keto or similar diet. Yeah, but it's going to create the cravings. It's going to create this, right? I would much rather, it's going to take you a little bit longer, like Chris said. You give them a little bit more time. You just find your caloric requirement, okay? And then find the nutrients that would do good to your body, and then give it at a specific time. My wife can eat anything at any time. She can eat the fish and soup in the morning, like Japanese people can do this. You can pay me $1,000 to eat the soup in the morning. There's no way I can, what I mean?
Yeah.
For me, as much as I love egg whites in the morning, I cannot have egg whites in the evening. It's It's ridiculous, yeah, but this is the kind of thing. So for all the people that are listening, okay, you know the foods that you like when you like them. Okay, so ideally, you want to eat what you like eating at any point of the day. Yes, good. Now just measure it. And then if you need to earn your carbs, okay, you're going to do some activity. So have it. I always get them. You're going to, you like carbs? Okay, then you're going to have to train. You want to have them in the morning? Okay, then you're going to train in the morning. You don't, then you're going to train in the evening. You know what I mean? So why would I give you a shitload of carbs in the morning if you're going to train at 5 p.m.? You're not going to use it wisely, but you crave it. Okay, we're going to move this over there. This is basically how I think, to simplify, we all coaches, we all have a gazillion clients, and we have clients that don't comply, and we have those that partially comply. I have those people that you put them on 5 days of zero carbs and they gain weight. They say, "Oh no, I swear on my children." Like, oh, please don't. Please don't. Because we all know, right?
How many funny stories do we have in that regard?
A
We're like,
million.
you're like, all right, man, you're looking a little flat. We're going to do a refeed this weekend. I'm just going to bump the carbs up just a little bit on Saturday and Sunday. Basically just giving you 600 calories extra of carbs in 2 days. That's it. Then Monday rolls down, they're up like 11 pounds. It's like, bro. Well, I don't know, man. I'm just carb sensitive.
Oh, yeah. Very sensitive.
Dude, I had this dude, and we went, eventually, I just pulled this high carb days. I'm like, bro, I don't know what's going on. I don't get this type of response. Now, I'm trusting you, so I'm pulling the carbs out. There's no more refeeds, dude, because you can't be spiking 8-10 pounds and then taking the whole entire week to get it off. We're not getting anywhere. So I pulled it out, right? And then this is really funny. Carb up starts. He's like, what are we carbing up on? I'm like, bro, I'm petrified to carb you up. You're carb sensitive. And he goes, yeah. So I am like, dude, we're going to do a trial on Monday. I'm going to give you like maybe 400 calories from carbs above your baseline. We'll see what happens. And the next day, he loses a pound. And then I texted him, I go, don't bullshit me anymore. I go, why are you losing a pound after me increasing these calories, but you're gaining 11? He goes, I wasn't quite honest with you. I was eating a lot extra on those days. I'm like, bro, you're making this so hard on yourself. Like, and me. You know what I mean?
I don't know about you guys. I mean, if a client comes to me and they slip up, obviously it's a scary text to send or a scary message to your coach, but I appreciate it. I'm like, all right, we put it behind you and we move forward.
Yes.
You're going to lie. That just pisses me off. Like, that's just like, what are we doing? Because it's just the variables aren't, in play. And it's just, I'd rather someone, I remember 2017, I had a young lady competing in figure for the first time, 5 weeks out. Her and her boyfriend, got into a fight. They went out, got a burger, fries. Okay, she's up a little bit of weight. The next time, I'm like, all right, we're going to put it behind you. I appreciate you telling me. 5 weeks later, she wins the overall. And I'm like, it's, obviously we don't want to slip up on our nutrition, but people don't realize that if you're going to lie, there's just going to be no good outcome. And that's a perfect example of the story you just told, Chris, because that could have screwed things for him.
Yeah.
It could have screwed things. Just as simple, if he would have told you, all right, hey, I messed up. This is what I did. Okay, it's past us. Now we figure out how to move forward. It's that simple.
Justin, yeah, I'm going to tell you this. I was watching Chris a few months ago, right? Getting lean for some posing video footage and all this stuff. He got fucking shredded. I mean, contest shredded and all this stuff, right? And then I check with him, like, how much carbs and how much protein. And I know exactly because I've been there and I'm sure you did. So we are so perfectionist and super strict. So when you have to estimate, are you at this, can you be at this level? Or maybe you should stay here, right? As far as carbs.
That's me.
Yeah. And I've been there many times, right? And that's why I wrote every single day. And in a calendar of, let's say, 1996, before I even start 96, I would put from 95 each day, January 1st, all the way through what I had January 1st, 95, what I trained, everything, right? Just to compare, because I've been there, and throughout the years, I underestimate because I was like you. I was kind of scared, right? Until that few times, you know what? Okay, if I'm going to give an honest try, let me double up or increase the carbs and see what happens. And more I have, better I look.
You're talking about carbing up.
No, just carbon up, but
Yeah,
even in a diet, right?
Yeah.
In a diet, just whole concept. Let's say even when we are dieting and we have a 12, 16, whatever amount of weeks, right? You projected and you have to be deficient, but are you deficient 2, 3, 4, 500 calories? And could you get away with a little bit more? What would maximize? In a sense, any human being, any athlete especially, if they say they don't want to maximize every single day, Justin said improve every single day, right? That's the name of the game. We want to improve and we want to maximize everything. But then if you compromise sleeping, if you compromise resting, if you compromise amount of carbs and calories that you can have, right? Yeah, you're going to still look good and you're going to come to the end and be very proud of yourself. But was that maximized? So which I realized back 93, 94, 95, because I was so strict and kind of mindset of Chris, I'm better off a little bit less, less carbs. But then when you analytically and, put your educated guess, what is caloric expenditure in 1 hour of any physical activity, right? So could you add more carbs? Yeah, but we don't for some reason. So what I'm grateful that I figure out that I could get away with much, much more. And that's why I competed all the time and I was always in shape, because it was not suffering. I could get with much more. Early in my career, I did this a little bit. And then when you suffer, you can't wait for sure to be over. And so you can eat whatever you want. I mean, I've been there. But after I experienced this couple of times, I said, man, why don't I just balance and don't let myself? So if I would go with a cheat meal, if I go with something, okay, I'm going to reduce all the other nutrients. So I'm not going to have a 500 grams of protein. Why would I have a 500 grams of protein, right? Or this and this and that. I crave fats. Okay, I'm going to go crazy with fats. I crave carbs. I'm going to go crazy with carbs. I crave both. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my protein down to almost nothing. So you kind of can balance it.
So that brings a good question for both of you. Are you guys a cheat meal guy for a coach or a refeed day of clean food? What would you inevitably prefer?
Individual dependent. Yeah. And I know I've said that maybe 3 times now. For me, I would say a cheat meal guy when I would prep. Okay, I love my sushi. All right. For a competitor, it really just depends on who it is. It's trial and error. There's some people to where, that standard burger and fries just doesn't work for them. The variables of digestion, you both males and females, we could go a cheat meal route, but then they're going to feel like crap for 4 days after. What's really worth it? And then there's other individuals to where they'll piss right through a cheat meal. Does nothing. And it's like, could we have benefited more from 2 to 3 days really filling glycogen, of 2 or 3 days of a high carb day rather than just that one meal. So, I mean, I'd love to answer the question, Chris, but it really is individual dependent. I've done both. It just depends on the person.
I personally am all for, I'd much rather always be at a high carb day or a high carb meal that I telling him what to make, or a high carb 3 days. I don't like the idea, and I'm not good at balancing that with my clients in the past, of being able to replicate a refeed meal for a purpose of what it's intended for, besides keeping them sane. Like, it's like, oh, have a burger and fries. Well, I had it at Five Guys this time. I had it Burger King this time. Then it's different every time. I'd rather it be like, all right, dude, make this at home, make these oven fries, have these macros. But that's how I prefer to do it. Totally understand what you're saying, though. Totally get it.
And then you could even throw in the variable too of, with those cheats, high carb days, whatever, are we practicing, what we're going to do before a show or how someone's going to respond? Like let's say you want to go to cheat meal approach. Someone may look great, 3 weeks out, you give them a burger and fries. They may look great the next day, the next 2 days, but
Can
we're
you?
going to do that the night before a show?
Yeah. No,
Risk
hold on
how
a second.
it cooks, risk how it digests. There's a lot of risky variables involved with that. So to your point, Chris, doing those higher carb days, refeed days, those are more variables that are in your control to see how someone actually responds. Because like I said, someone could respond great to a cheat meal, but guess what? Are we going to have the balls to do that the night before a show?
Right.
Oh, sorry. You brought so many good points here. Control. Okay. Cheat is uncontrollable.
Mhm.
Cheat is uncontrollable. You don't, I don't care. Define me a word cheating. Cheating is not good in any sense of that word, right? So I'm going to let myself and my client cheat. Why would I? Treat yourself with something, okay, maybe. But what is that fry going to do? What are French fries going to do to your physique? Please explain me. That I'm going to let you eat it just because you can get away with it? Well, yeah, you can get away with it, but could you get away with some nutritious carbs that Chris would give you, right? Or some good fats? For me, we all know this can create inflammation, and word you use, control. Can many guys get away with it? Yes, I had those guys. I need my cheat and all this stuff, and then they would have some desserts. They would have a French fry and all this shit. Okay, so now I am your coach, and I have to explain to you how did this happen that you look so good. You got away with all this shit. So why don't you eat like this every day? Every day, if this does good to you. No, you were calorically deficient and glycogen depleted, and body would need something. You need glycogen. You need glucose. Okay, you're gonna have some good fats, yes, better than bad fats. Why would burger do more than some good old steak? Explain to me. No, but explain to me why would it? So again, as people say, off season, off this, off that. Off turns me off. There's no such a thing as off. You're on all the time. You're supposed to be a bodybuilder every day. So don't give me that off shit, and then don't give me that cheat shit. It's excuse. So would I let you treat yourself? Okay, you really crave. So this is how I was doing. I would crave burger. Okay, I would have a buffalo burger. Okay, and like you said, air fries. It would be quite similar, right? Way more nutritious,
Better
and
bacon.
no sense of a guilt and no inflammation. You say sushi. I love sushi. Sushi is on my menu. Okay, you're going to have a tuna and salmon with some rice, avocado, all this shit. It's allowed. It's not even a diet. It's good. It's not cheat. But I hate when I get in this argument with some other coaches. Oh, yeah, he needs a cheat. And then I give him, and then he looks great, and I'm now a great coach. Oh, so if the world depends on this, you're going to bet your life that this is the best food you can give to the humanity? No. If I have to give the best nutrients to my bodybuilders, I'm going to give them nutritious, high carbs, high protein, high, good fats, stuff like that at any time. Cheating, like I said, I had 2 days in a year that I slipped and, I really craved something. Okay. And I had it. I don't give them that. And Justin, maybe you even felt at certain times that when you eat some kind of cheat, that you filled up and all that stuff, right? Maybe it's even you personally. Did you?
Yes, but I don't think that's anything that could have not been done with
the
higher
food.
carbs,
Yes.
higher fats of cleaner foods.
Yeah, you just get away with it. You got away with it, and so I could, but it's not better option. No coach, and if any coach is saying this, Chris, let's get him on a podcast. No coach is ever going to convince me that, yeah, this is the way to. No, it's not. Give me now, analyze whatever that bullshit food you gave. Okay, let's analyze hydrogenated fat and all these additives and all this shit. Okay. So how is this now nutritionally beneficial to your client? Oh, but you got fooled. You can't get fooled with good nutrients and good
No,
carbs
I'm
and
with
water.
you. I'm with you 100%. I
But
don't, but people love that. Like when Juan Morel was eating those like
I know.
8,000 calorie refeeds that Dave Palumbo had him do or whatever, all this channy junk. Do you know how many of my clients were like, do you think we can do something similar?
Yeah, well, listen, there's always logical answer to everything. It just people like to go through life without being honest to themselves. So ask yourself a question. Do you want nutrients or you just want stupid calories? Inflaming, cheap junk food that is going to do nothing to you? Oh, but it's going to make me satisfied. Oh, yeah, really? So why don't you eat like this all the time?
That's what people fail to realize too is, yeah, they can get that short-term satisfaction, but as bodybuilders, where it's performance, is that going to benefit our training in any way? If we have the massive cheat meal or a crazy, cheat meal day, how's training going to feel the next day being that inflamed? How's training going to feel the next 2 days? When you could have done a lot of that work through cleaner sources, then you're actually going to get beneficial training sessions.
Yep.
You see, now just to throw that in also, you guys know Gustavo Badal, right? And Dennis James. I mean, it was Ben Pakulski. And, so when I said, like, okay, Dennis liked waffles and pancakes, right? And all this shit. And Gustavo liked the cookies and stuff like that. I said, listen, we're going to make nice little oatmeal, banana, raisin, cookies, right? You're going to have an oatmeal, banana, raisin, pancakes, whatever. You can add a little bit of protein powder and all that stuff, right? And you can have it every single goddamn day. I let you. Okay, so what do you crave? You tell me, right? So whatever you crave, carbs on, fats or something, you can create the meal that is going to really satisfy you. And if you do this every single day, you're never going to get the craving.
Well, especially with products today. I mean, listen, there's protein products, protein potato chips, protein gum. Like there's everything now. There's like high protein peanut butter that's low fat, But let's do a recap. But just for the record, Milos, I just want to say, I don't think you're abrasive. I don't think you're mean. I love it. I love when you go and tell everything how it is. And it also makes me trust you more on any topic about anything, because I know you're not going to sugarcoat shit.
No way. Why would I? Let's lie to ourselves. No, I'll tell you the truth. The good truth is always better than a bad lie. That's for sure.
Let's recap. So we've determined that training approach for a natural versus enhanced is ultimately not going to be different. We all agree?
100%.
We all agree. As far as nutrition standpoint, in regards to a macronutrient percents, is that going to change just because somebody's natural or not? And it's going to be more based on the individual's response? We can all agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then the last, we can all agree that natural versus enhanced really mainly affects the outcome and the rate of change.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're going to get more from it. But if you can touch that subject, then I think you walk away, Chris, for a second, and Justin mentioned something that those natural athletes are so, what do you say, proud of, you use different word, I forgot, like they're proud of.
They're proud that they're natural.
Yeah,
and almost, the enhanced world is
evil.
And Justin, you probably didn't hear, I was telling Chris my point of view on that one, that the only reason why naturals are natural is because they're afraid. They don't know. And they think that being enhanced is going to, be deleterious to their health. I'm telling you. So there's two different aspects. Yeah. Some athletes, of course, when they want to compete clean, they compete cleanly because this is ethical thing to do. Yes, for sure. And I'm all for it. Nobody uses. Great. For bodybuilders, now, in a bodybuilding, you competed even in natural organization. What is bodybuilding? Oh, extreme muscle building, hypertrophy, enhancing yourself. You want to be bigger and stronger, right? So you do everything naturally that you can. You eat and recover and train. So you want to be enhanced. Do you want to be enhanced? Everybody wants to be enhanced in one way or another. But are you going to allow yourself, if you have education, and this is what I said many times, and I would like any of those naturals to tell me that I'm wrong. Like, why did you, Chris, or why did you, Justin, decide at whatever point of your career to go with pharmaceuticals?
Simple answer for me is I just like Arnold's day. Like I wanted to be better than I could be. So like, just like when I used to race motocross, when I get a stock bike, Manchester Honda off the floor, the first thing I'm doing, custom suspension, new seat cover, different handlebars, port and polish, pipe and silencer, changing the jets in the carburetor, doing everything I can to make that bike better.
Enhance. Yeah. So, but you didn't do for a while, and Justin, I'm going to ask you the same question. So you didn't do for a while because even for me, first is not educated, but I do want to be enhanced, and I do want to do natural, okay. But then this thing can enhance this like 10 times more. Why would I not take it? Oh, because it's dangerous. But really, how dangerous is what is dangerous about it, right? Oh, because they said so. Okay, well, they said so. Let me analyze this a little bit. Oh, anabolic, constructive metabolism. Oh, it can actually enhance your health if you're injured and old and burned and this and this and that, right? Oh, it's doping. It's not allowed. Why? Because whoever uses is Superman, bigger, stronger, faster, right? Oh, so how is that the bad thing? Why would I not want to be a Superman? Why wouldn't? Oh, because it's dangerous. So, Justin, you didn't listen to me and Chris before. I said in 30-something years, I never had a side effect. Okay. So now I could have lived 30-something years without it and be ethically proper. I'm proud to be natural. Like I said, I'm proud to be natural. Oh, I just wasted 30-something years of, flying as a Superman instead of walking as a Clark Kent. No, my choice was to fly. And I did. Okay. So when did you and why did you decide to finally do it? Because you did enter the natural shows.
So when I was coming up competing, the OCB, the IMBF, I would say I was more brainwashed at the persona, right? You're in the NPC, you use drugs, steroids, bad. Bad person. So I was in that mindset. No, the IMBF, this is my league, this is my OC. But when I had done my 7 natural shows, and when Milos, you made a great point of what are we doing this for? Bodybuilding, right? We want to be freaks.
Exactly. Yeah.
I want it to be a freak. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm just stuck in this persona of this organization that I'm competing in, and the mindsets, to where I'm this bad person. If I decide to go this route, fuck it. I want to build my body like exactly what you said, Milos. I want to take things to the extreme, of course, in the healthiest way possible, but I wasn't going to do that, staying with where I was. I started, I think I did my first cycle. I was 21. I might've been 21 or 22. And it wasn't necessarily that I thought it was this bad thing. It was just that I was stuck within the mindsets of the organizations that I was competing in.
Yeah. So brainwashing, like you said, and being afraid of, that's what I keep saying. Listen, in other sports, Olympic sports, I'm going to say it's not ethical. So if you do it, you're a bad guy for sure. And I completely, I know that whole concept, I completely agree, but we are talking about here sport, bodybuilding. There is not meant to be Olympic sport, even though they had this illusion of, no, it's freak show, like you said. Okay, we want to be extreme. We want to be enhanced in every shape or form. So, but I'm gonna just be proper. And okay, you tell me how many naturals. Okay, how many Jews claim they are natural? You know, but they're not. How many?
Too many.
Way too many. More than 50%. You know,
Yeah.
and listen, they come to me and they start telling me this shit. I said, I would bet my life on it. Okay. No. I never touched anything. Oh, really? You know, oh, why do you have that little shadow around here, you know, at the period of time, right? Why did your hair break out? And, you know, that androgenic look that you get. It's the differences. But I have like so many people. Oh, no. I never touched anything. Because maybe they don't have a Ronnie Coleman built, you know, and so if I would do it, I would be just like it. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is how it is. Many times that they come with this and say, "I'm natural, and that's why I'm only like this. If I have done this one, I would be just like you." Well, you choose not to.
Justin, how can people get a hold of you for coaching? What's your Instagram and all that? I know for a while I was referring some clients to you and you had a good wait list and you weren't taking people on, but still, for anybody who wants to know more about you and all that.
So right now, I am not currently taking on clients. I just things are a little busy right now. Workload's a little tight. I know you guys, if anybody know what that's like. However, I mean Instagram. It's Justin_Randall91, I believe it is. You can reach me by email. My email is right on there. If you would like to inquire. I am moving a little bit more in the direction of general nutrition, especially as I judge more things like that. I have my national level people, pro athletes and stuff, and I'm kind of veering in a direction away from the local level. Just as I judge more shows, things like that. I really do love judging, and I'll always love being a coach, but I've started to dial that back down a bit, as I work more shows, of course. But that's pretty much how you can reach me, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, this is super good. I mean, I appreciate it. You said you love judging, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So hopefully I'm not going to put you on the spot. Coming up this Saturday, Andrew Jack and Hunter Labrada. From your aspect, okay, how do you analyze them? You're going already predicting what they can possibly look. How would you judge them?
Two very different physiques. Mm-hmm. I had just seen Hunter, up close in Tampa. I did not judge at Tampa. I was right there. He was tremendous. He was in great condition. He was full as a house. I think he's the best that I've ever seen him. Now, Andrew, taller competitor. Hunter, when I tell you, he was thick, he was full. And obviously Andrew's a big boy, but I don't know if the mass is going to be enough. I could be wrong. I haven't seen Andrew's physique in a while, but I think Hunter is the guy to beat at this show. That's just my prediction.
It's interesting. That's why I'm asking. Yeah, because you see, a lot of people don't see that possibility. I saw it. I mentioned already.
And Andrew's got.
I don't get it. But
tremendous. Andrew's got a tremendous physique. I don't know if he's quite there yet. I mean, Hunter's going to be hard, very hard. So another guy too, that I'm not sure if you guys have, spoke about, Carlos Thomas. Mm-hmm. I actually had just judged the Victor Martinez show 4 weeks ago now in the Bronx, and Carlos guest posed.
Oh yeah, that's the video we saw.
Tremendous, freaky. Wow, he blew my socks off. But from a conditioning standpoint, I don't know if he's going to be there yet to hang with, someone like Hunter.
Yeah. If his condition, he's going to be a threat. Could he beat Hunter? Probably not.
I agree.
I think that Hunter, I mean, when you think about it, Hunter was winning every possible show he ever entered until the Olympia. And then, like 3 times now, he lost Olympias. He was, whatever, eighth first time, fourth, and now seventh, whatever, right? But has everything, shape, structure, conditioning, right? But there are little gaps that, standing relax, is Andrew Jack more wow factor? Yeah. I mean, taller, bigger, wider, crazy chest,
Absolutely.
crazy ab, right? So it's going to leave that impression. But then I don't know, as a judge, how you do it. I'm not a judge. I'm just, and Chris, I don't know if you agree with me. So now I'm analyzing. They're going to turn to the side for quarter turn, right? Okay. Andrew has that crazy chest and all that stuff. Yeah, but legs look kind of lengthy. It doesn't, per square inch, as Justin said, maybe Hunter's going to create the illusion of thicker, guy there. They're going to turn to the back.
I think Hunter's going to look bigger.
Yeah, it's
I think
very
dense.
yeah.
I think he's going to be harder. I think that he is going to bring a very complete package. And do not get me wrong, Andrew's tremendous.
I love
And
Andrew.
me being a shorter guy, I'm not biased towards the shorter competitors, and Andrew's a taller guy. But like you said, Milos, in that front relax, he's mind blowing. In that front double bicep, especially with the twist, his structure is just beautiful.
Yeah.
But what comes down to the quarter turns, the side chest,
Side triceps, yeah.
side tricep with Hunter's Dorian variation with the detail on the legs, the back double bicep. Hunter's back double bicep blew my socks off.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's gonna be a very unique matchup. But if I had to predict right now, and I don't like making predictions, I think Hunter will be the guy to beat, and that is no disrespect to Andrew.
Absolutely. So if somebody asks me whose physique you like better, it's going to be Andrew. This is, I'm going to say Andrew. But then who's going to win the contest? It's like, oof. Pose by pose, I could see Hunter taking over, right? So
that's a great way to put it too.
Yeah. That's why you see, official judge. I'm not. So this is why I'm very interested and curious what you're going to say, and it's great to see that, right? I never liked Dorian's physique really. When I like Flex Wheeler's physique better. I like Camille LeBron's better. I like Sean's better. Chris Cormier's better. Yeah, all this I do. But then when I actually see them pose, fuck, Dorian won this pose. Dorian won this one. They won most of the poses. So then I have to answer myself, if I'm a judge, who would I give? Like, damn, I would have to give it to Dorian.
And you know what's funny on another note is I never really believed this until I actually sat there at the tables. The show is different at the table.
Oh yeah.
And Tyler Mannion just posted a good video about that. Everyone loves to be, the head judge online on Instagram, but things are different at the table. And that's why me with my experiences, I'm going to say someone like Hunter because that's a lot of detail. He is very detailed. And don't get me wrong, I haven't seen Andrew. He could be bringing something that we don't know. But when you're sitting there up close at the table, as Tyler said it himself, the details really show. And that's where I think that Hunter is going to be the one that can win the contest.
Houston last year, Andrew was such a standout. It was like, oh my God, right? To the point that Jay Cutler, some other people would say, like, yeah, that's Mr. Olympia in the making. It's very close. If that physique could just expand a little bit and, be crazy condition, it would be like, wow, hard to take. But then he showed up in Honor Classic UK, not as good. He won dominantly, but it was, okay, that's not going to do it for the Olympia, right? And then the Olympia, he didn't do it. And then Honor Classic, even though conditioning was spectacular, right? Then he came down just enough to see like, wow, maybe now he doesn't have enough thickness on the legs from the side, which is visible in, 3 poses. And then his back was not as impressive as some of the guys, So we'll see. Apparently his biggest he's ever been now, and he's coming conditioned. So,
And that's the tricky part, right? That just comes down to the maturity of a competitor. Like you were just saying, at this show he was this, full, impressive, but the conditioning wasn't there. At this show, the conditioning wasn't there, but something was a little off. Maybe he looked a little flat. That's where it comes down to maturing as a competitor, to where when you nail it, it is nailed. And that's why, Hunter, I think Hunter's 30, 31. He's my age. Like to me, that's why he's so impressive, is because when he nails it, he's very complete. Now, if Andrew shows up bigger, hard, his structure isn't going anywhere, that's where it's going to get very tricky. We're just going to have to see how much he matured as a competitor within that gap.
He's tremendous.
It's gonna be fun. I'll be there because it's like 20 minutes from my house.
Oh, you will be? Shit.
Yeah.
You got to send me the updates live.
Now, the big boys are on Saturday, right?
Correct. Classics tomorrow. Big boys are on Saturday at 11. Night show starts at 3.
That's tomorrow already.
I have to judge in Jersey on Saturday, so I'll be getting the updates at night.
Dude, I will say this. I don't know how they're going to do it, because I have an amateur competing there too. So amateurs start at 8 a.m., okay? Prejudging on Saturday. They want to go through the entire amateur group between 8 a.m. and noon. And then, or 8 a.m. and 11 or 11:30, and then open, and all the pros go on. And then the night show starts for the amateurs, and the night show starts for open. That's
how they just did it in Tampa. Honestly, Chris, I know it sounds crazy, but it works. And just being honest, the NPC amateur shows these days, they're not as full.
Right.
They're not as full. So an 8 to 11 or 8 to noon prejudging, that's very realistic.
But you judge. I can't imagine being from 8 o'clock in the morning until judging all day. How can you have your focus and attention? And
so now, don't get me wrong. I'm right now, I'm just NPC Northeast. I've not judged pro shows, and that's where you got to give judges credit. Especially a head judge. From 8 a.m. to whatever time they get out at night, that is pure focus. And I know everybody loves to, rip judges apart on this decision, that decision. But when I tell you it's work, it's work.
Yeah. But you're in that situation. You actually have to put down your opinion, right? I think sometimes maybe even you as a judge is saying, this is so goddamn close, and I don't know which way to go,
Milos, honestly, it's funny you say that, because that's why I love it. Because I've always, even from coaching standpoint, like we like making hard decisions, right?
Yeah.
Because we have the ability to. I think that's what I love most about judging, is I trust myself to make a hard decision.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, and every show there's going to be hard decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's what I love most about it.
That's a good way of putting it. I never really thought about it that way.
Yeah.
I love making hard decisions.
You see, Chris is a condition guy, and I know that no matter what, he's going to look for that extra little hardness, extra little dryness, right? And I've been there. I told you that story. I'll never, ever, ever, ever forget this. Because up until that point, I was just like you, Chris. I have to be bone dry. I have to say there's striations everywhere. No. And then Joe Weider himself is the one that just completely, it was like this. Justin, I'll tell you, 94 Olympia, I was ripped to the bone, crazy conditioning. When you are happy with yourself, like,
oh yeah,
damn, good. But I placed 13th. Okay. I go to European Grand Prix Tour. I eat up, insulin load and all this shit. And I was way bigger and all that stuff, right? And I beat Porter Cottrell, who was top 5 at Olympia, the week before in every show in Europe. But it's okay, maybe it's just European judges. Maybe this is why. But I didn't really realize when I look at the pictures and all this stuff. I go now to Joe Weider like 3 weeks later. And 3 weeks after the show, you have no way in a contest condition in your mind, right? You loosen up, you eat a little bit, and you're full and all this stuff. So I stripped down for a photo shoot, and Joe saw me and said, Milos, why didn't you look like this at Olympia, right? You would be top 6, all this shit. And I'll never, ever, ever forget this to the rest of my life. No, that's Joe Weider, right? And I'm at the photo shoot. Well, now he's not known to blow the smoke up your ass, right? He always speaks the truth. And he's like, but come on, I'm looking at myself. I'm not ripped. I'm not dry. No, he goes, come here. So you take the Polaroid from the photographer, right, of my pose that I just did, and he take me to the table and he put the picture from the Olympia, the same pose, and I'm looking, and it's like, I was so stupid, dry and ripped and everything, but I don't look so much better, condition-wise than I look here, but I look 20 pounds heavier. And that fullness and everything else, now, like, which guy wins? Oh, this guy wins. Like, oh,
it's that balance. It's that balance. You like,
Yeah.
Exactly. And what's funny is we like to, when we see that, gnarly, dry, crazy ripped guy, right? Our minds associate the work that goes behind it, right? Because we all know what that condition feels like.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's a muscle show.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that of course, you got to be in shape, you got to be in condition, but like you just said, Chris, there's balance.
Yeah.
We can't take that crazy, ripped, bone dry athlete just because he's crazy, bone ripped, striated glutes, whatever, over the guy that looks 30 pounds fuller.
Yeah.
Slightly less condition. At the end of the day, this is a muscle show.
That's what you said it. You nailed it. You have to make a hard decision, right?
Yeah.
And you see, I've been at the top level of coaching with the guys that go to Olympia. And I mean, imagine the amount of money they can make or lose. And you have to make a hard decision on what look is better, right? So, so it's very easy, just like you guys are coaches. Okay, shit, I need to go deeper. I need to go deeper. Shit. But then the ratio benefit, to am I gonna gain here or lose if I dig deeper? So for extra illustration here, did I lose this? No. And Joe Weider is the one that pointed out to me, and that's why you're official judge. That's why I wanted to know your opinion, and I'm glad that you see it that way.
The big word there is criteria.
Yeah.
Criteria. And trust me, Milos, I was a 212 guy. I was weighing at 184 pounds. I wasn't getting looked at unless I was in extreme condition. So obviously I love the condition guys, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But as a judge, there's got to be the balance.
Yeah.
I've been in situations to where I go with a slightly fuller guy that might be a smidge less condition because that's the criteria. It's a muscle show.
It's a muscle show.
So
awesome. If you enjoyed this podcast, check out the recommended clips here.